I don't know. I think this Stihl 260 Pro is pretty good.
I think it's possessed by the devil.
Why?
Because it went idle. The whole life that saw never idled decent.
Well, I think it's decent now.
You would idle for a little bit and then stall. The second you'd put it on the ground and walk away from it, it would stall.
All right, guys, welcome to part 3 of the MS 260 Pro. This is going to be tuning and cutting or testing, so be much more enjoyable video than the last two. So I'm going to try and tune it a little bit, and I'll have a bunch of firewood I can cut. Pancakes is lame. I want to make some firewood. It's more beneficial. I just fueled it up. Let's see what she'll do. I'll use a decompression here. Be helpful if I get you in the shot, huh? Yeah, I'll let her idle for a little bit. It's really not very nice out. It's windy like always. I think I'll run it for a little bit and then I'll tune it after it's warm. We'll see if she'll run, huh? Okay, what do you get me here? Pretty good sized log. Alright, he's bringing another one out. I was gonna tune it, but we'll do this one yet. Alright, I'm gonna try and tune it here if I can. I'm gonna do the idle and the low speed and the high speed. The low should be done. Now it's the high. Kind of boggy though. Alright, how about the high? I could do it in a log. That. I don't know if I can get it closer or not. Probably not on camera. When the cameras roll, things don't work. Alright, I'll cut a little bit more with it. Alright, I think I got it as good as I can as far as tuning. I ran the one tank out, the next one's half down. I just kept cutting on stuff. Seems to be running pretty good now. Starts pretty good. It's got the little 4-stroking going on at the end, on the top end. So I think we're gonna be good. So we're gonna call this good, I think. The only thing I could probably do is maybe go through the carb. I mean, the diaphragms could be dried out a little bit. They're not new anymore. But it's working pretty good. So we're gonna call it good. Hey, you know what made this thing run really good? I put some of this Husky bar oil in it, and it started running really good.
That was the ticket.
Yes, it was. So ran.
That made it get real muscular.
Yes. Or huscular.
Muscular, yeah.
You know.
Muscular. There you go. YouTube has been told.
All right, so I got 3 saws here. Now, our brother's gonna explain to you, if you notice in this video, the 260 Pro wasn't cutting probably as fast as what you'd think it would, but it's also got a bigger chain on it. So why does it have a bigger chain?
Basically, we put a chain on there that matched some of our other saws, so we could run the same chain on different chainsaws. So if one would get dull, you could just, you know, swap chains.
So it'd be the same as what, the 290 and the 031 you had, right?
Yeah.
So it's basically using old chains that you had. So this one could have what? This is a 3/8 chain.
On a 16-inch bar. 3/50.
So it's creating a pretty wide groove. So I could go with a narrower one. Here is this is a 241. This is a, well, 3/8 Pico. It's getting wore though. But 3/8 Pico, so what's a 3/8? It's a different distance between the rivets, right?
Yep, distance between the rivets.
And then Pico being low profile.
Yeah, you can see the cutters are narrower.
Let's look at these back next to each other. Yeah, you can see how wide this is. It's going to take a wider cut. It's going to cut on the outside edge. And then the Husky is another type.
Yep, that's 325. Stihl makes a 325 as well.
I don't mind having different types of chains really, but I did set up my 241 here to be the same as my electric saw, the 220 CBQ, I believe it is.
Barbecue?
I'm gonna say 220C. Motor Sage is MS. German word. I think it means saw or chainsaw or something like that. But these chains are the same. These bars and chains are identical on these two saws. I set them up that way on purpose for the same reason. I could use the same chains or bar or whatever, you know, if the bar goes bad. These are lightweight bars, so if I twist it. Also, this is a carbide chain. Duro right here. Carbide on there. Those things are mean, huh?
Yeah, if you're somebody who accidentally cuts into the ground a lot, or if you're cutting wood that's been skidded, the carbide is basically a game changer.
That's soldered on, correct?
Yeah.
There you can see the green link.
You need a special wheel to grind them and to resharpen them, but your chain life is probably at least 5 times as long. Unless you hit nails or fence wire and take the carbides off.
Yeah, I did that on one of them. It's some barbed wire. Guess what? It cut through the barbed wire too. So that's one nice thing about this size is you get the ability to run carbides.